My friend Andrea, how are you?
Hey, good. I'm so good. How are you?
I'm so happy. I'm so happy. This is
Hi.
so great. You and I share something that I don't share with a lot of other friends in that we really kind of prescribe to certain energetic and spiritual concepts. And
Mm.
I love that about you because you mix that and that's the forefront of your business. And I'm so excited that you're putting what you are putting out there on LinkedIn in terms of energy, mindset, but it goes way beyond that. And I think for some people it's relatively new, but for a lot of us it's like, yes, oh my gosh, thank you for talking about this on LinkedIn. So, let's start from the beginning.
Yes.
Tell everyone who you are, what you do, who you help.
Yeah, so I am Andrea and I, and I am a coach, and I love to help women just bring more of themselves out into the world. And so a lot of the women that come to me, they have this feeling like they're here for something more, or there's just something inside that they can't quite put their finger on. And so I help them bring those dreams out into the world, believe in those dreams, know that those dreams are meant for them. And so part of it is simply the motivation. I know that's what a lot of coaches, that's sort of the job description, is we're here to help people believe in their dreams. But more than that, what I also want them to do is get into their body and start to hone in what's fear, what's intuition, how do I look at my thought patterns and my emotional patterns so that way I can become a match to those dreams that I want. And for me, I feel like that's how I'm a little bit different than other coaches. A lot of other coaches talk about the thoughts and the mindset. And for me, I really love to bring it into the body and integrate all of those things together, because that's to me where women really get the motivation to move forward. And it makes it a little bit easier when you can move some of those icky emotions out of the way. So that's a high level of what I do and who I love to help.
Yeah, I'm all about it. You are so speaking my language.
Yep.
So take me back. I don't know if I know your full origin story of where you were and what you were doing before you were doing this. How did you come to this? What were you doing years ago?
Yeah, great question. So I was a corporate gal, had the degrees. I went to college, went to grad school. So I had two engineering degrees, and neither of them I really knew what I wanted to do with them when I got them. And so I landed in project management. I like to say no one is a little girl dreaming of being a project manager. I feel like a lot of us just kind of fall into it when we don't really know what else we want to do. And so I was in project management doing process improvement, lean process improvement, if familiar with that, working with local insurance companies and sort of in the healthcare and health insurance spaces. And there was part of that was what I wanted to do, was climb the corporate ladder and be powerful and have, fancy titles and make a lot of money. And I got to a point where I realized I'm I wasn't all the way up there, but I could know enough that that wasn't going to do it for me anymore. It wasn't going to feel the way I thought it was going to feel. And so there was this feeling inside of me that this isn't it. And also this voice that if I stayed on this path, I wasn't going to be living up to my potential. And so I started just getting curious on what that meant and having this idea that maybe I was supposed to work for myself. I didn't really know what that looked like at the time. I just started being open and curious as I went on in my work. The second piece that brought it in, which really got me into energy work, was being a mom. And after my daughter, my oldest is 9 now. And so right around the time she turned 1, that's when a lot of kids start moving and grooving and getting into things. I realized I was really reactive and really controlling. And I would yell at her for things that she didn't. I mean, kids don't deserve to be yelled at anyway. I've learned that that's a trauma pattern that a lot of parents put on their kids. But what she was doing did not fit how I was responding to her. And so, separately from the job stuff, I went thinking about that. How can I be different as a mom? How can I show up and be compassionate and supportive in the way that I want to be? And I know these kids deserve to have a mom like that. And so that got me into this conscious parenting idea, where I learned about the pregnant pause. And then for me, the pregnant pause, I would just think, I would stop and I'd say, I'm not supposed to yell right now. And then I would yell. And so all it would do would just delay the yelling. And so then I started understanding trauma patterns and how when our kids impact us, it's really not about them at all. It's really about old emotional energy coming up to the surface. And so I learned how to just feel and breathe through those things. And eventually I was able to stop reacting so much. And so I started as a mom coach teaching those sorts of things while I was still at my job too. And eventually those things kind of merged. And that's when I realized so many people could really use this that don't get this knowledge and this information. So I started talking about it from the mom perspective. And then I realized those same techniques can be used like at work. Like if I'm afraid or embarrassed of doing something, putting myself out there. And so I just started morphing them. Then I started morphing them into helping corporate women and business owners. And so it just kind of snowballed from there. But those were really my two entry points. Was I didn't like working and I didn't like who I was as a mom. And so somehow this beautiful web just kind of like created itself for me.
Yeah, it's like, what do they say? Clarity through conflict. When
Yes.
you
Yep.
when you get to that point where it feels uncomfortable, there's something off, there's something wrong. It doesn't make sense logically. You just know that you're not happy for whatever that reason is, and you don't know where you're supposed to go or what you're supposed to do next, but you know you have to make a change. That's scary, especially when it's different and it doesn't feel traditional or it might not be understood. And you say, what am I going to do? I'm going into a completely different path from where I started. And taking that leap is terrifying
Mm-hmm.
if you
Yep.
don't have that perceived safety net. So did you decide, there's a lot of people, that were forced into leaving their jobs with layoffs and whatnot. Did you decide to leave and
Mm-hmm.
said, I'm just going to cut this off and I'm going to start fresh?
Yeah, it wasn't. I thought I had a safety net when I left, though. And so luckily, my job didn't push me out. I chose to leave when I did, but I also thought it was for an opportunity that was supposed to pay me back in a way, which turned out to be a scam. And so I left my job thinking I was going to have this big opportunity, and then I didn't. And so then a few months later, when I figured out it wasn't a real thing, it's like, you know what? I'm still in this. Like, was looking for a reason to leave my job no matter what. And I don't want to go back. The idea of going back just kills my soul and every single cell in my body. And so I said, I got to figure this out. And so I've been figuring it out ever since with that motivation of I know I'm doing what I'm here to do. I know there's still some pieces that need to fall into place, but I don't want to go back.
Yeah. Are you okay with talking about that experience that you had? I saw you post some photos about it that someone pulled the wool over your eyes. What the
Yeah.
heck happened?
Yeah, yep. I am happy to talk about it if it keeps anybody from making the same mistake. One of the things, and there were a couple different opportunities, they were both media related. And so there are these groups from New York. So, this big one, I'll talk about the big one in particular. They have this intricate funnel process where someone on LinkedIn, a woman, which makes me sick that it would be a woman who would start this process, reaches out and says, hey, we have this empowered woman radio show. We would love to have you on it. It's this for an episode. And so when I was early on, you hear these, you invest and you get visibility. And so I was doing it with good intentions to help grow myself and get myself out there and grow my business. And so I did one show and they set everything up. After the show, I got a phone call from someone who claimed to be from NBC. And there's a lot of red flags if you look back. But as someone who was really young, I was really excited about this. And they said that they're looking for women to promote for this opportunity. They have this network of news outlets and businesses that pay top dollar to get you in. And so I went through this whole fake process of what I thought was an interview and what I thought was a selection process. And what they said at the end was, we need to make you look bigger than you are. That's how people will hire you. And so they have a media production system. And so I didn't have to, I chose to because I didn't know any different. There was a magazine that I paid for. I flew out to Connecticut for this interview that I paid for. And so I got all of these things. That was my billboard in Times Square. And so I got all of these, and that's how they try and make it legit. Like, hey, we gave you this contract and we gave you all the things that were on this contract, but then they don't actually promote you on the back end. And so it's like you're sitting there waiting. They tell you to keep your schedule open. And then turns out, no, that wasn't the case at all. And how I found out was there was another media group in New York that actually reached out to me a few months later and wanted me to host a talk show for them. Their analytics had found me as a potential talk show host for them. And I said no for a few other reasons, but he told me, he's like, yeah, I felt really bad for you when you told me the first time because that group totally a scam. He's like, let me guess. He told you his name was this and this and that. He's like, they've gotten so many people. And so that's when I realized that, and that was a really big one. There's another smaller group that put on podcast shows that I paid into in the beginning too, that apparently they don't promote in the way that they say they're going to. And so for me, it's this idea of pay to play. Everyone says you need to pay to play, but I'm like, I got to be real discerning now. And everyone should be really discerning on, is this actually getting the reach? Is this group legit? Because there's a lot of people that feed off of that really feed off of, well, visibility, and we'll put your name out there. That no, they just want the money. So that was sort of the high level of what happened. It was some media promotion opportunities that didn't end up working out.
Oh my gosh, I am so sorry that happened to you. That is terrible. And yeah, I've turned into that type of person where I feel like I need to dig around and
Yes.
try to research every little thing because
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately I've gotten a little cynical because of
Yeah.
things like that. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
well, sounds really great, but I'm going to dig around and I'll get back to you. Unfortunately, being that guarded and being that skeptical is warranted because, yeah, there's so much that people can get away with now. And now going down the road of AI, that's terrifying too. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
being able to do your own media now, I say it's like, yeah, I don't need to pay anybody to get
Yep.
me out there.
Yep. If it takes longer, it takes longer, but at least it's me.
Yeah, it's you. You have control of it. You know what to do. And it's so much easier to learn how to get that out there and to create that presence and to build your name and to build your
Mm-hmm.
reputation. And I'm really sorry that happened.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
Thank you. I believe everything happens for a reason too. And so there was a lot of healing and emotional release that came out of that for me, which I think was just par for the course of playing this human game, unfortunately. So I looked at it from that perspective too.
Yeah, that's healthy. You're healthy.
Thank you.
Yeah, I remember seeing that picture that you posted on LinkedIn of the billboard in Times
Mm-hmm.
Square. Yeah, incredible that they go to that length to fool people. Anyway, all that
Mm-hmm.
to say, so you worked through that,
Mm-hmm.
and then what came next? What came after that?
What came after that was it was a blank slate. I was looking around. I was like, I don't know where to go. I just know part of me knew at that point, my people are not just randomly on social media. I feel like my people are here in Madison. So that's when I really started networking and getting out into the community and meeting people. Because on some level, I feel like I'm here to serve here, like geographically, the people here and not just randomly on the world. So that was just me getting moving a little bit. And then the second piece, which really pulled me out, and that this is the motivation for the Future Self Mixer, was I found a coach that does what she calls identity work. And that was something like I knew the mindset, I knew the emotional healing part. She teaches a lot of that too, but I hadn't really gotten into identity work. And so I signed up with her and did her program. And that's really where I jumped myself into the future. And I said, who do I really see myself being? I still see myself being on media, being on big stages. Like none of the things had changed from what I thought this other group was going to help me. But I just realized I got to do it on my terms. I'm not going to be discovered. I'm not going to, skip all of the learning steps. But the dream was still the same. And so I needed to start seeing myself as the version of me that could do those things and that believed in myself. And so that's where I started really looking inward even more than I had done before. And I had to really look at my work and say, my work is changing lives, and really believe that, not just pay lip service to that, but like believe it in my body. And I had to look at my sense of self-worth and really feel like I was worthy of charging money and working people and helping people through their own transformation. And so I did a lot of inner work to see myself as the type of person that was super transformational, super worthy, super valuable, and start to become that version. And so that's what I did. And that was really what moved the needle for me. And it was so fun. When do we get to play dress up and all the other things as grown-ups? It felt a little bit like dress up, but in a really fun way, like really getting me out of my leggings and my boring t-shirts and wearing lipstick for the first time, which I'm still getting used to, but it's fun. And so that was really, I would say, what moved the needle for me, just getting me out of my funk and getting me back into the vibe of who I know I'm here to be and what I know I'm here to do. And that's when people started noticing too. So it's been a process, but I feel like I go through the process so that way I can truly feel what it feels like. So that way I can help other people through it as well.
Exactly. Yeah. I talk about that we can't really help someone with this kind of stuff unless we go through it ourselves.
Hmm.
And I was just talking to someone yesterday about what I went through, which doesn't make any sense on the surface because a long, long time ago I started on television and that was really fun. But then so many years later, decades later, I found myself wanting to do my own media too. And then getting back on camera, I started with the self-talk, with the critical
Hmm.
self-talk. And I didn't understand how that happened because that wasn't happening outside of me. People weren't giving me feedback. People weren't criticizing me to my face that, and I was criticizing myself. And I found myself for about 2 years, I felt like it was hard for me to speak on camera. And I didn't like the way I looked or sounded. I didn't like how I was aging. I didn't like how I gained weight. And all of that was inside my head. And I was really, really critical. And I said, why? I feel like my throat chakra is blocked,
Yeah.
literally. Like
Yeah.
I am forcing myself to speak and it's painful emotionally. I said, what's wrong with me? This is not me. I've never been like this. It came out of nowhere, but I kept moving through it and
Hmm.
I kept putting stuff out there anyway. And I kept recording and I created things and then did a lot of inner work, did a lot of recalibrating the whole self-love. And then I said, oh, I get it. Of course you had to go through that so you can relate more to people
Yeah.
who go through that. Said, oh, of course. I thought I could relate to people like helping someone feel comfortable when you're filming, but you can't really have that empathy until you really know how that feels.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it's hard and painful when you're going through it, but
Yep.
you get through to the other side
Hmm.
and understand. And hopefully you learn that lesson that, oh, that's what that was for, whatever it is. And now I can help someone else and I can help pull them through.
Hmm.
And that's for anything, right? So
Yeah. I love that. And I also say too, it was also coming up to come out because I always say like your spirit guides, they know how to pull you higher and they know what gunk is in your energy that you need to clear in order to do that. And so you were twofold. They were pulling you higher so you could show up even more powerful, embodied in your body than you were before. And so you could have the experience to go through that.
yeah. And I am really grateful for it.
Hmm.
I'm glad it's over.
Right. No. Isn't that funny? It's always like, oh, it sucks to be in it. Everyone's always glad for the opportunity on the other end, though.
But too, it's not like it completely goes away all the time. You're going to get pulled in and out, right? Because we have ego and we're human. And so it's knowing how to recognize it and flip it
Hmm.
instantly or as fast as you can and say, stop that,
Yep.
So I remember when you and I first met, it was January 2024 when we were brought together to do a workshop together. That was so cool.
Yes, it was.
So nice. And now I think about, okay, where were we both mentally and emotionally in that time? That was over a year ago. And look how much we've done and worked on over the past year or so. And I remember watching you, looking at your content on LinkedIn and seeing the kind of posts you're doing. And I remember you were posting about encouraging people who are in business for themselves to not be afraid of increasing their prices. Do you still do that with your clients too, talking about that as well?
If it comes up for them, absolutely. Yeah, that was one of my previous recent clients was she wanted to increase her prices and so that's she came to me because that's what I was talking about quite a bit at the time too
Huh?
and we had to work through it's not easy to just do that like if it was easy she would have just done it and been fine but what she was finding is even before she increased her prices at her current prices she would offer discounts and so we would work through all of that and it's like well why are you doing that and so what's the mind gunk that's having you offer a discount and it was time for money my work isn't that valuable I need to work hard for my money and so it was all that stuff that we had to recalibrate before she could even raise her prices and so the big one that we ended with was her going back and just seeing all of her ancestors and how hard they worked and she felt bad that life got to be easier for her and so there was this unconscious pattern that she felt bad that it could be easy. And so we rewrote that and we said, they worked hard so that it could be easier for you. And so that really resonated with her. And then she started saying, our prices are as if she was speaking on behalf of her and all of her ancestors. And so it was like a really amazing reframe. But for me, that's why it's so hard to just say, well, here's how you negotiate and here's how you raise your price. Like there's so much inner stuff that really some people just can't get over it. They can't just say the words because they've got so many patterns inside. And so I love to go in deep and let's figure it out and let's reorganize it so that way your energy like it's permanently altered. It's not just something you need to like fight with all the time.
I like how you use the word rewrite. You rewrote the
Mhm.
story because I think I'm one of those people, and probably a lot of people too, where we're constantly going into the past or into the future and not staying in the present moment. And past experiences are influencing how we feel and what we do now, saying, well, I didn't grow up with money, or I didn't grow up in a family that had a successful business. So who am I to do this now? And because that's not part of my past, that's not part of my history. And rewriting that story, I love that concept. And now that's morphed into you helping with the future self, which you touched on, the
Yep.
future self and the event that you're going to be doing. And I love that. So talk about that.
Yeah. So this event in particular, again, it's based on the concept of getting into the future and acting as if you're the version of you that already has all the things. And one, it's just fun. It's
Yeah.
fun to play pretend. How many grown adult women get to play pretend and dress up and laugh and talk about our dreams in a really supportive way? And it's also a really powerful manifestation technique because what we know now about manifestation, we know more as people kind of level up. And so formerly manifestation, it was say these affirmations. People would like, I would download workbooks, write this affirmation 55 times a day, and then your thing would come true. And do this vision board and look at this vision board, and then your thing would come true. But what we now know about manifestation and energy is if you think of your body as always sending out a signal, like you're a homing beacon, sending out a signal, and you're going to bring situations back to you that match that signal. And so, clients, opportunities, money, relationships, homes, all of the things are simply responding to your signal. And it's not looking past, present, future. It's just what are you putting out there today? And so, for people who have these dreams, like for me, I want to be on stage someday. And I know you don't just wake up one day and you're on big stages. It's a process. You need to take the small steps and get your name out there and all of the things. But the signal I'm broadcasting because of the work that I've done is I'm already there. I walk into a room as if I've done those things. I can talk about as if I've done those things. And so it's really bringing the future into your present because all we ever have is the present and the signal that we're broadcasting right now. And so it's a way to, some people use the term quantum leap or jump timelines, if you've heard some of those language as well. But really, it's just quantum physics. We know from quantum physics, once you just broadcast a different signal, you're going to attract different things into your life. And so it's really playing with that idea of, well, if I don't want to keep recreating what I'm doing today, then I need to broadcast a different signal. And so it's just one way to get into a different energy and get into a different vibe, which is what the vision boards and affirmations were trying to do. But for me, this just cuts to the chase a lot easier.
I love that you're doing this because I've been playing with that idea for a long time, but I haven't met anybody who's actually talking about this, offering this, having people experience this in this way. It's so good. I'm so glad you're
Yeah.
doing it. You know, it reminds me of way back when, when I think I was maybe in high school or college age when I was trying to, be more professional and get the new jobs or whatever. And they teach you that traditional saying, don't dress for the job you have, dress for the job you
Yep.
want, right? It's basically what this is,
Yep.
but at a much more expanded level. And it's all about energy and the frequency, and people who are on your frequency you'll find
Absolutely.
each other, you'll match each other. I just love that, playing with that and just playing with it, not taking
Yeah.
it too seriously at first. Just allow yourself to play and fantasize and experiment and try something. Yeah, like you said, you
Mhm.
tried different clothes and lipstick for the first time. And so I remember years ago, I was doing that too, but no one was really teaching me to do this. I was just picking it up here and there. And I
Just
remember
you.
really brings me back where you actually put yourself in the experience mentally and emotionally. And you talk about doing it viscerally in your body, which we'll talk about as well.
Mm.
I remember doing that when I wanted to be on a TV show back years ago. And I just would be in my apartment, just feeling what it would feel like to be in front of those cameras and to be in that on the set. And I had no idea what that would feel like, but I just imagined it and focused on it. And was just really honed in on it. And I know I manifested that experience. I just know I
Absolutely.
did. But it's also a matter of putting in the work too, not just sitting around and waiting for things to just come to you, right?
Absolutely.
You have to be an active participant. And we talked about yesterday, if you want to touch on this, the law of attraction and action, right?
Absolutely. Yep. Yep. So you might hear the term inspired action. And so it's not, you're right, just sitting and manifesting and thinking about all the things, but you still need to take action. Action is what I like to say, like it moves the energy around you. And so make the phone call, make the post. Like it doesn't even have to be a big thing. For me, when you get into the energy, it's almost like you get different action ideas than if you're not in the energy. And so it's a shortcut too. I think it's like instead of throwing all the spaghetti at the wall, like what is the fastest way for me to get where I'm trying to go? So yeah, you need to take the action as well, but it's not hustle action, it's aligned inspired action. So what's the weird? Often it's weird and it doesn't make sense too. It's like what is, this person just came into mind today. I haven't thought about that person, but I'm going to reach out to them. Actually, I have a story about this. So I was working with a client a year ago and she had a full-time job, but she was also building a business on the side. And she's like, I just need more time. And I can't quit my job right away because I need some income coming in, but I just need a little bit more time to have time during the week to work on my new business. And she had this idea to reach out to this person. And so she reached out to this person and she had this idea that, this person works here now and I could work for them just a few days a week. And so they met, they had coffee. Nothing came of it initially. This was probably April or May of last year. I just had coffee with her a month ago and it's happened. She's working for that person for 3 days a week. And it happened because she got the idea to reach out to this person and get coffee and just bring it up. And so sometimes things don't happen right away either. She had to play the long game, and even a few months isn't necessarily long in manifestation timelines for some people, but it came from this idea that she had to reach out to this person. And I told her to follow through. And I said, keep imagining it, like keep wishing for part time and just like feeling it in your body. And it eventually happened for her. And so that was a really cool thing to hear from her that like it came true eventually.
So good. And I like the idea too of releasing the whole hustle energy, because I feel like sometimes when you go to, say, these in-person networking events and everybody's there to promote their business, right? Whether
Mm-hmm.
they work for a company or they have their own business and they want to talk about it. But I feel like there's this underlying energy of not desperation, but like hustle in a way, like you come in with this energy of, oh, I need to find a new client or I need to promote myself, need to it's a very different energy than this is what I do, this is who I help, and there's a relaxing about it, and it's not like trying to sell yourself or trying to sell your service, just like you're inviting it to you instead of trying to reach for it, instead of trying to throw someone a business card or trying to soft sell someone before you even get to know them. I can almost kind of feel that energy too when you go to a networking event where it's like, I just want
Mm-hmm.
to get to know you.
Yep.
And if I decide that you are offering what I need, I'll remember you maybe 3 months later, 6 months later, but it's literally that energy of just, you're already
Mm-hmm.
doing it,
Yeah.
already doing it, whether you're doing it for 3 hours a week or full time, but you're already in that zone.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And I had to work through that myself too. Because I'm still 2 years into the networking thing. It hasn't been very long. And so I noticed that in myself. And I call it used car salesman energy. Like you always know when they're just like asking for the sale and that's all they care about. And so I had to work through that myself too, where not everyone's a potential client, not everyone's a potential referral partner. But I also realized when I just go in with it lighter to just have fun, like I can also just have fun with it. And then connections come and who cares if it's not business, but for me one of the best parts has just been meeting people and
Yeah.
feeling like I belong in this community and being able to walk out. Last night I went to dinner in Verona, which is where my husband was born, raised, and has lived almost his whole life, and I knew at least two people that were there. He knew no one. And that's a result of all the work that I've done. And so it just feels good to just get out and be part of a community. No strings attached, no expectations. Just do it and then the right people will find you. So I'm with you.
Yeah, it's that balance of the future self. Your future self is here in the now. You're
Mm-hmm.
already doing what you want to do. And yeah, relaxing into it, just letting it go, surrendering. It's
Mm-hmm.
that balance of surrendering and working with the energy. Yeah, you never know who's watching and when they're going to reach out, because if you're still actively participating in the way that works for you, like on LinkedIn, for instance, and you're interacting with people, you're supporting what they're doing, you're posting what you want to post, you're showing what you're doing, and it's lighter and more relaxed and more fun.
Mm-hmm.
I've had people reach out to me out of the blue. I've been watching you for 2 years and now I need blank.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even know think you were paying attention or know you were even out there,
Mm-hmm.
because maybe they're not necessarily posting or commenting, but they're watching.
Right.
And so who you meet now, you never know who you're going to work with a year from now,
Absolutely.
2 years from now.
Yep. And that
Yeah.
inspired post idea that you got 2 years ago that really pulled them into your audience, like, you don't know. And that's why it's hard, like metrics, vanity metrics, all of that. We want more numbers, but it's not about the numbers. It's about, like you said, the path you're laying and the invisible people that are out there following you, watching you, just in your audience. And so that can be a mind thing that can be hard for people to get over because we're so used to measuring things. But you're right. If you can let some of that go and really get into the energy, it really works on your behalf.
Yeah. That's why I started this Visible Women's Group, because I want to encourage women especially to just stay visible,
Yep.
just keep doing your thing, but let people see you doing your thing and let them see not just pictures, not just selfies at the chamber meetings, which we love to do. We all do that, and that's
Yep.
great. That's
Yep.
wonderful because we tag each other, we support each other. But if you do it more in a video form so they can hear you and see you in action and they feel like they're getting to know you, and then you see someone at a networking event and they feel like they already know you because they've been watching you. I was at a social media breakfast once and I was walking by someone and they said, "Hey, Faith," and I didn't recognize them because they're not really that active. But
Mm-hmm.
he watches my stuff and he felt like he knew me, but we never really met until that moment.
Oh, sure. Oh, that's
Um,
fun.
so I thought, oh, that's so interesting. People feel like they know you already.
Mm-hmm.
And not like trying to be like in a celebrity way in any way or an
Right.
influencer way, specifically, just really just sharing what you do and letting people in into your world. So I love the fact that you're bringing all this together and you're doing this event on the future self. So this should come out. And let's see, today's already the 4th. This is coming out. Your event is on the 10th.
Mm-hmm.
And so tell us about that if someone's local and they want to get involved.
Yep. So the event will be Thursday the 10th. It's the first one. I have a feeling I'll do another one just because there's a lot of conflict on this one. But this one in particular is going to be at Sober Social in Middleton. So funny, I mean, how this event came together too. I had this idea to do something there. One, because I love the concept. I love everything is non alcoholic there. And it's someone who was, I don't know if she uses the term addict, but she just, at some point, like she had to stop drinking. And so she wanted to make it easy for other people. She says she combines like society with sobriety. Like you still want to get out into society, but you don't want to drink. And so I just love the concept of that. I love supporting women-owned businesses, bringing a lot of people that I've talked to, they don't even know she exists. And so that was one of the reasons I wanted to do it there. And it's just so cute. Like it's all pink and flowers and like she's got it decorated way cuter than any space I could ever decorate. And so that's where I started, was wanting to bring something there. And so that's why we're doing it there, to support her business and to bring people there and to just the decor. I want to just elevate the feel of some of the events that I do. And I thought that that would be a great space to do it there as well. And so the idea is everyone's going to show up. And I've talked to some people, they want to keep their names, which is fine because they already feel like they've put a lot of energy into their name. But I'm going to show up and I'm going to put a new name on my name tag, a new upgraded name with this vibe of who I want to step into. I'm going to wear these hot red pants that I found a few weeks ago that I haven't worn in public yet. And the idea is everyone is going to be there. We're going to talk to each other as if the dreams and the goals that we have already been accomplished. So I'm already traveling the world on stages, or I've got my own interior design show, or I'm a realtor, or I travel the world, whatever it is, everyone is going to talk as if those things have already happened. And we're going to have to make some stuff up about how we got there. And that's okay too, because what that does, that opens the energy of possibility and different ideas can drop in when you just play with the idea that, yeah, I got discovered on TikTok by the queen who called someone who knows this TEDx person. Like we're just going to play around and have fun with it. And so it's going to bring our dreams to life inside our body. We're going to support each other. Like, no dreams are too silly to talk about. And so it's really this idea of play, getting into that energy. And so I'm kind of running it as an experiment. Like you were talking about experimenting with energy. I've also learned I just have to experiment in my business and see what sticks and see what doesn't. And so that's what we're doing. But if you don't get this in time, join my email list and then you'll know about any future ones that come up. So that's just andreaandre2es.com/email.
That's a good point for anybody who is seeing this after the fact and
Mm-hmm.
they, oh, shoot, I would love to do that. And I'm local. You're going to be doing it again. So,
Yes. I
yeah,
have a feeling I'll be doing it again. And I've got some ideas around, like, what if we go somewhere that lets us try on clothes and like get into that vibe? Or you go somewhere fancy and you just walk around as if you can buy anything you want. That's another abundance trick too. Like, that clears your nervous system for abundance. And so I'm trying to lean into this role play a little bit this year to just see how that works instead of just, hey, who are you? Here's what I'm trying to do. Make it a little
I think
different.
it's great because it's so different from, the typical, workshops that we attend and you brainstorm and you journal and you write things. Those are
Mm-hmm.
wonderful and that starts the process. But actually having this experiential
Yeah.
event, experiential things are, everything to me.
Yeah.
And I think having the experience and getting it in your body, getting in your subconscious, and then just letting it go, surrender, not really having any attachment to outcome and just, like you said, just play and
Mm-hmm.
have fun with it. But you never know where it's going to lead. And
Exactly.
I can attest to the same thing, all these years seeing what other people were doing and thinking, oh, I would love to do that too. And following that thread. And then it's years like, oh, wait, I'm doing
Doing
that.
it. Yep.
Could have made that faster if I met you earlier, if you were doing this before. But no, this is so great. I'm really excited and I can't wait to see the pictures, hear what everybody did.
I know. I feel like I have to shoot video too.
Yeah, I'm having a camera up,
Mm-hmm.
having the phone up on a stand somewhere and people
Yep.
can play with making some clips. I forgot to ask you, did you mention what your name might be when you're going to be there?
I'm keeping that secret for
Okay.
anyone who shows up, just
Okay.
because I want to like make it special for them.
Oh my gosh, that makes it even more fun. So
Yes.
good. So good. Okay. You said your email. Just can you repeat again your email and where everybody can find you online?
Yep. My social is LinkedIn, so that's where I spend the most time. Andrea Andre with 2 E's. And then Instagram is at Moms Gone Quantum. So I'll send you a link for that. And then just to join my email community is andreaandre.com/email.
Perfect. And
Cool.
thank you for being part of the Visible Women's group. You
Yes.
add
Oh my
so
gosh.
much to it. It's such a great mixed group of women. And to have access to this type of work and just experiment with all of it just means so much. So thanks for what you
Yeah.
share with them too.
Well, and thanks for what you do. It's how amazing to have someone who knows all these video things that you're just here to help us out. I mean, it's something that I've known that I wanted to do, and just being in your energy, it makes me want to level up my video game. And so it's like I'm like editing and pulling clips out and things, and so yeah, you make it so easy, and I love the support that you give and the support that we give each other. So it's a really fun group to be a part of. Thank you for following your nudges and putting it out there.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. That was something that was rattling around in my head for a good amount of time before I just pressed play and said, just
Yep.
do it and
Yep.
just see what happens and just play with it and
Yep.
don't be so stressed about it. And it's evolving into something that I didn't even expect yet. And it's so great. I just love it. And and we're having fun. It doesn't have to be so serious, but it's really powerful and impactful too.
Mhm.
It's all the things, I think. So,
I
so
think so
thanks.
too. Yeah, and just how fun to see the people in person and to just I've been in Madison a long time, but I haven't felt like I belonged until recently, and it's just because of these groups and just having people that I can see out and about and that know your story a little deeper and are here to cheer you on. And so people are always looking for that community, and it just feels like that sort of community that you're building too.
Yeah. Well, we're all doing our own version of that. So
Yep,
yeah,
exactly.
keep doing it. Keep doing it.
You
All
too.
right. Well, we'll see you out there. We'll see you online and can't wait to
Absolutely.
follow up with all of this. So
Yeah, thank you,
we'll talk
Faith.
again. Thank you. See you later.
Yep, bye.